Parents of Reddit, what was the worst thing your kid/s ever did that made you momentarily wish you didn't have kids? My 4-year-old daughter, at the time, slapped a 3-week-old newborn across the face immediately upon meeting her. Just like my brother greeted me. First some gentle strokes on my newborn head, to gain trust maybe, and the bam, a slap in the face and off he ran. I don't think he liked sharing our mom's attention. My kids buttered our dog. You ever try to catch a freshly buttered chihuahua? No, but I have butter and a chihuahua, so I think you've just invented a new sport. One time, they decided it would be fun to play in the bathroom. It just so happened that I left my wallet in a pair of pants on the floor. They flushed about $400 down the toilet. My 3-year-old got diarrhea at the park this weekend. We were half a mile walk from home with no bathroom in sight. I wanted to disappear. It was early morning, and I was sleeping in my bed. My 2-year-old woke up before me and decided that she was going to wake me as well. She climbed out of her bed, went into the kitchen, made a set of stairs to get the kitchen knives, grabbed a knife, and headed to my bed. She climbed into my bed and stabbed me an inch below my eye. I woke with her holding said knife over my head and her giggling like the bride of Chucky. Pawned my wedding ring to buy drugs. 3 dozen half-eaten sandwiches hidden around her bedroom. If she'd told us she didn't like them, that would have been fine, but to hide them? Holy smokes. The other day my 5-year-old walks up to a group of Indian women and loudly goes, "What's with the dots on your foreheads?" Pause. No response. "What's with the dots on your foreheads?" I drag him away saying it's part of their religion blah blah blah, and he goes, "What's a religion?" Clearly mailing this whole parenting thing. I was talking to an older gentleman at a softball game. My 5-year-old son was standing by us, patiently listening. With no warning, he punched the old guy as hard as he could in the berries. The old guy collapsed in pain. I asked my son later why he did that. He had no explanation. Just wanted to do it. I have twins. They were about 8 when this happened, I think, but they ripped open our next door neighbor's bagged leaves and jumped in them and basically just threw them everywhere and erased all the progress they'd made cleaning their yard up. I was about 8 months pregnant at the time, and we had a super kid-friendly neighborhood, so I didn't know it had happened at first, since they used to run with the kid gang during the day. When I found out, I made them go over and apologize and made them help me bag up all of the leaves again. It was definitely one of the most embarrassing things ever. Oh, and one of them broke a teacher's nose in 1st grade too, so that was a fun school trip. My son was about 7. He discovered my wireless hot glue gun from my craft room. I was using it that afternoon and stopped to make dinner. I didn't shut off the gun. Of course I didn't get to my craft space till much point later and noticed it wasn't there. Turns out my son took it and hot glued all the electrical outlets he could find. I mean, all of them. When the moody teenage daughter was telling her friends at school that we didn't feed her and we were always angry with her and we hit her, and a teacher overheard and reported us to child services, so we had to be investigated for child neglect. And they had to speak with each of our kids and interview them independently. My wife and I are still reeling from that one. Not a parent, just an older brother raising sisters. One of them is a compulsive liar and loves to throw tantrums when things don't go her way. I typically just tell her that I don't care when she starts. It usually results in her keeping quiet for a bit. One time when my younger 2 were toddlers, 3 years and 4 years, they decided to piss inside a bunch of cups that the rest of us drink from. Last horror story that hit me the hardest. I decided to take a nap for about an hour. The baby gate was up, the TV was on, and they were pretty entertained. I woke up from my nap to wake up to 2 kids without diapers on, one covered in sh*t, the living room being trashed, and worst of all, my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, 1000 plus cards being scattered around and torn to absolute shreds. RIP my heretic dragon deck. When my son was 4, we were in the grocery store. He started acting up, and I reached over, grabbed him by the elbow, and told him to knock it off, or I would swat his butt. He jerked away from me and yelled, "Get away from me, you're not my mom." Just as a woman was walking by too. I thought I was going to kill that kid. He's 30 now and still laughs about it. When my daughter projectile vomited mid-sleep. On me. The bed. The floor. Curtains. The dog. I was frozen for a moment wondering what I should tackle first as the dog started eating the vomit. He then decided to shake it off, and that was the moment. Not her fault, but as someone with OCD it was a moment of pure hell. I took my kid to a little fair/carnival type thing while he was being potty trained. He was doing a great job, so I figured it would be manageable. I asked him if he needed to go potty before I let him near a bounce house. We went to the potty and tried nothing. We get in line and have his shoes off almost our turn when this lady moves her daughter out from in front of me and tells me to look down. My son is pants off peeing on the ground almost on other people. I wish I could have just walked away and been like, "Not my kid." I offered everyone near us wet wipes and apologized as much as I possibly could while trying to clean up and get the heck out of there. Harder still was explaining to my toddler, who's in tears, why we had to leave. Felt like a garbage human that day. My son was 12. As we were walking out of The Force Awakens, he yelled out that Han Solo dies while people were waiting in line to buy tickets for the movie. Someone just spoiled Endgame for him last month. Sweet, sweet karma. "I hate that song," announced my 4-year-old son loudly on Veterans Day after they played the Star-Spangled Banner while we were sitting in the center of the basketball court in the special seating because his big brother was carrying the flag, sitting between dozens of decorated veterans. When my now 7-year-old son was like 18 to 24 months old, can't remember when, he was sitting in my lap watching TV. He started throwing a fit and flailed his arm, and his little tiny fingernail managed to scratch my cornea. I managed to wait until my husband got home and met him at the door with "Kiddo, like it's your turn." I ended up having to stay in my bedroom with the lights off. My doctor wanted to refer me to ophthalmologist, but it was the day before Thanksgiving. It got better on its own. My girlfriend's 3 years old had recently been potty trained and was completely out of diapers and wearing regular underwear. Some accidents weren't really a concern anymore. One night, as we're getting ready for bed, I ask, "Do you need to go potty?" She says, "Quite certainly, no, I don't need to go potty." So I lift her up onto the counter so she can brush her teeth, and she immediately pees all over everything. I just stared in shock. I was so unbelievably frustrated and simultaneously impressed with the amount of gall that took. My daughter figured out how to leave the kids part of the Amazon tablet and enter the regular Amazon app, where she proceeded to spend enough money to empty our bank account, put us $600 in the hole, and she had another $3,000 of merchandise in the Amazon cart that wouldn't go through. It took me some time to unscrew all of that. When my daughter was 13, she stayed with grandma while her mom and I went to a Van Halen concert. She was supposed to stay the night. We got home about 12 o'clock or so and listened to the phone messages. This was the 80s, before cell phones. It seems she waited for grandma to go to bed, found her car keys, stole her car, and crashed it into a tree down the street. No real injuries and police were not involved, but I realized then and there that I did not want any more kids. My little monsters decided to scrub the van to clean it. They used sanding blocks. When my daughter was about 6 to 8 months old, I took her to change her diaper changing table. Diaper off, while reaching for something, she squirms, rolls over and sprays me with poop. It wasn't much, basically a shot, but as I started to yell "No, I got some in my mouth." Considered leaving her at the firehouse that day. Thank you for watching Internet's Funniest. Please like, share, and subscribe.